Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome for the first time if this is the first video you've seen. This is a speed build of Rosenheim Mansion, manor, get confused which one to call it, but in the style of American Horror Story. So this is for the murder house, so season 1 of American Horror Story, and as you can see I started off with blueprints. These blueprints were not quite exact, these are of the original build, and there were a couple of sections that have been missed off and I add them a little bit later. Luckily I found out and noticed before it was too late. So the Rosenheim Mansion itself was built in 1902 by famous architect Alfred Rosenheim, and it took 5 years to complete. So these windows, I spend a lot of time particularly on these windows trying to get them right, and that's because these windows are really sort of vital to the build as far as I can tell. I try lots of different things, but you kind of have to settle, and I go back to it in a minute once I've figured out the bottom ones. And these windows, it was so important. I wanted them to look right, but I also wanted to add the colour that goes on the other side. And quite honestly, these windows, the smaller ones that I'm using for seasons right now, they were the perfect ones, or even the smaller size ones from the Discover University pack. It's just a shame that we cannot stack the windows or anything on the same wall pane, so I end up trying to be a little bit more creative, as you can tell here, and I end up deciding that's probably a little bit too much. So I go with something completely different, completely out there compared to what it should look like, unfortunately. And so we go with these nice tall windows that are from the Get Famous pack. So as I carry on with the exterior, I only had a few exterior pictures to base it off. The back and the left hand side, had to think about what side that was. They are completely just sort of made up. I tried to use the same windows, of course, just to give it that extra look to it as well, just so it all worked together. So I also started off on a 40 by 30 plot, and I moved this up to a 40 by 40 plot, just because I had to add these extra parts. I've tried to reference towards the American Horror Story program rather than Rosenheim house itself. I found a few difficulties with this, so it was really lucky that quite a lot of it wasn't actually changed, but there were certain rooms that were changed, and that was the kitchen and another room that I complete the study. And I completely messed up the study, as you'll see later. I make it one way and then you sort of see me sort of remember, like, oh, actually it doesn't look like this on the program. And I've done this a couple of times as well, just because I found pictures for both Rosenheim Manor as well as the American Horror. Oh my gosh, yeah, it is American Horror Story. I'm confusing myself as per usual. So Rosenheim Manor itself has also been featured in other TV productions. So there is Alfred Hitchcock presents Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Bones, and also Law and Order SUV. Doing the exterior of the house was a lot easier than necessarily the interior, for reasons I've already suggested. However, I kind of found like it was lacking in plants. There are pictures on Google Maps and you see lots of trees and things around it, but actually on the horror story, like on the series, I keep forgetting that word, there isn't as many. Oh, they're also quite like dead, so there's lots of like dead ivy to make it look really creepy. I wasn't really sure which direction to go with that. I kind of stuck more to making it look a little bit more modern and less on the creepy side. Although I kind of, at this point, I'm sort of really judging whether that was a good decision or not, because at the same time this is meant to be as it is on the TV series rather than what it is actually. So obviously any fans of the American Horror Story series, that's the word, series, I apologise. Maybe I should have added some ivy. We especially got the really awesome dead sort of ivy that you get with the vampires pack, and that probably would have looked awesome, especially on the front. But I kind of didn't really think about it, and I kind of went with the pictures I saw rather than necessarily thinking about what it was on the series. As I've said, that this has been a bit of a challenge just to remember which one it was I was doing. To start off really quickly, going into doing that upper part there, kind of started by doing the hallway downstairs and then going up to where everything else was meant to be. And as you can see, I kind of skipped a bit because I actually done the whole of that entrance hall the wrong way, and then I skipped that footage, to be honest. I was like, it's not really necessary, so I just kind of went past it. And also something else interesting, as I was just looking through things and trying to figure a few things out. The dog from the Murder House series, I believe it's called Hallie in the series. That dog is actually like, everybody wants this dog, to the point that this poor dog actually missed some of the episodes and recording sessions because it was needed elsewhere. I mean, this dog is wanted more than I am. I want to be that dog. It's probably got better social life than me too, in all honesty. I'm actually a little bit jealous of a dog here. So as you can see, I'm going all in on this office library area. It's meant to be a library, and this is where I completely get wrong, and I end up having to change it so it is what it is meant to be on the series. That was a lot of is. So we move on to the dining room. I absolutely love doing this one purely because of the counters. I don't know why, but the concept of having like the little lights on the counters and having that little purple bit underneath, I actually completely forgot to add it, and then I sort of remembered that it was there. So I'm glad I remembered to add it. It just really sort of collects it together. There's a lot of decoration on the walls for this room. As you can see, I'm trying to figure out like little archway pylons going around the walls, and a couple of the methods would have worked really well if I could get them to work. So there was the first one that we're using, the window, I forgot what they were called, so the window decoration didn't work, and for several times I have also tried to, I was about to say minimise, getting my words confused as per usual, to make the house itself smaller. Especially when I got to this room, there was so much space around the side. I was like, this seems a little bit unnecessary. Maybe I've got the sizes wrong. So I kind of done that a little bit, and now you can see I'm actually fixing the study area, and it's sort of more of the office area that's for the therapy. So I also turned the hallway into a smaller area for sort of waiting. So we've gone on to the kitchen. I had to make a slight adjustment to how it looked, adding in the little arched bit just to put in the seats. So when I'm looking at the picture for this room, it actually seems like that arched bit is at the back, and I tried to add it to the back, and it just seemed like it was a really ridiculous place to put it, in all honesty, so I just preferred putting it at the side. So I've just been joined by my gorgeous niece Evie. You want to say hello, Evie? Oh, you waving? Oh wow,
I'm just tired.
You're tired? Oh no.
Have a nap.
So with the quarantine and everything, life has got a little bit more hectic, and there are lots of little ones around to help at the moment, and that is certainly something I'm getting lots and lots of help. What do you think of the build?
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Do you like watching it? I like watching it. It's quite therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure you know what that word means.
What's that noise?
What's that noise? That's Uncle Alex's computer. So this is one of the rooms that leads on to another room, and I added it in a... I do apologise, I just distracted my gorgeous niece. I love her to bits, but I distracted her with a picture. There may be a little bit of background noise of children getting a little bit noisy now. However, it's all good. Gotta love him. So this room has a connecting room that I add later, and it goes, there's a door on the other side of the fireplace. Almost lost track where I was talking about. So I add this room later. That you can kind of see it on the exterior pictures, but I also weren't entirely sure what it was. There's a chapel that is also on the Rosenheim estate area where it's all built, and I weren't entirely sure if that was even meant to be built in this. I couldn't really find any proper pictures of the exterior or where it's located as to the build. So when I finally figured out that actually this bit is attached, I added it on, and I actually made that more into a living room. So that first one, it has the bar in it, and it's more like a relaxing space. And so we've moved on to the master bedroom, and in all honesty, my favourite place is this room, more because of this closet is like to die for. Absolutely love it. And I kind of love the way the chair connects to it, like the chair on the little archway corner. No, it's my favourite part about this whole build, to be honest. So it finally connected that other part, so we actually have the whole build together now. So we've got the extra porch that I completely forgot, as well as the extra room that comes off the side, which I turn into a living room area. Blah, 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 blah. And this one's kind of split up. I tried to sort of follow the design of the other one with the poles, just to try and make them link together nicer, and to sort of try my best to stick with the correct style that this room could be in, because I couldn't find any pictures. I stuck with a blue theme sort of like throughout it, and kind of kept it quite neutral. And then just plants everywhere. If you don't know what to fill your space with, just go plants. Everybody loves plants. So when looking through all the objects, I sort of sometimes get these ideas. I'm like, wait, I can make like a little spice rack, even though we've already got some. So I added all the little spices onto the shelving, and kind of just went back to where I was, as I do. Sometimes these little sort of ideas just pick up, and I'm kind of like, wait, let's just do that before I forget. So now we've added the bathroom, and this is still connected onto that main bedroom. So it has, you go like through the closet into the bathroom, and it's absolutely insane. We add like a little, it's called the morning room according to the, I was about to say map, but it's the blueprint, the house plan, whatever. So I kind of added it more into a sort of small area for the painting. I also added the chess table, and I kind of just went a little bit crazy with the hallway. It was quite big. I removed some of the rooms that were there, mostly because it was a hallway. They just weren't connected, and I was thinking about putting archways here, but I decided not to, so I opened it up, and then I just added seating areas and just kind of tried to fill that space as much as possible. So this second room, I kind of went with the same idea as with the master bedroom. I sort of tried to follow the same sort of style, so with the bed and the chairs at the bottom, and hopefully I didn't go too far and keep it completely the same, but I kind of got to add the bathroom next to it, etc. But it did, I used the same picture to try and create another bedroom. And from here I sort of started to get a little bit more creative. I tried to keep that sort of older style without making it too modern, but at the same time this build does have some modern areas. On the top floor there is a studio, which I apologise, but I actually don't have the video for that. It turns out I thought it was recording and it wasn't recording, and that kind of happened for every single room. So the last bedroom I do is Violet's, and then I kind of miss out on the rest, which is a little bit silly, but I absolutely love doing Violet's room. I kind of put my heart and soul into doing the mat. So quick random switch yet again, and I've proper condensed and made the whole of the basement a lot smaller. Kind of just went off a whim here and just added things to make up the space. I tried to put a little bit more effort in one of the other rooms to try and make it a little bit more towards like a storage space, but also at the same time to give it that sort of horror feel and to have references towards the actual series itself. And that mostly includes, there's a laundry room which there is sort of reference into, but at the same time you see a part of the laundry room and you kind of just see the actual bits that are there. You see the dryer and the washing machine, and then just somebody laughing manically next to it, and I was like, I don't know how to recreate this. But the biggest thing I done was add the bathtub. I was going to add a proper bathtub in for that reference towards the series. If you've watched it, it's for the bathtub in the basement. However, I added the one with flowers in. I just kind of liked the feel of it and kind of went a bit better. It looks a little bit more older and rustic as well. But at the same time, obviously this can easily be changed, and you can just decide to add in the whole entire bathtub in there if you want, and have a nice bath in a creepy basement room. So this is the last room, unfortunately, as I've said, and this is my mat that I'm so happy with. It's very simple, but I feel like just by adding the other smaller carpets on top really made it come together as the sort of patchwork style that it needed to be. So the build is available in the gallery at Tickaboo55, which is the gallery ID. It's spelled exactly the same. So guys, anyway, stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly in this awful time that we're all going through, no, you are not alone. I'm sure we all have someone to talk to, and if not, I am here. It's really important to keep our minds healthy, especially going through something like this.